Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the land of theme parks, Orlando, Florida. Now, today we have several places we have to visit and a whole bunch of miles we have to travel. Our first destination, well, it's not really where we're going, but it's a good place to rest our heads before we move on. I have two destinations and one little side trip that I want to show you.
Well, it's another fine day here at Disney World, but I'm leaving campus, so to speak, and I'm off to Universal Studios to see what that's all about. It's Thanksgiving Day, and I'm very thankful for everything, so let's go have some fun.
Originally opening in 1990, Universal Studios Orlando today is beyond busy. But today's mission is to find a mythical land and a fictitious character that lives in it. But not this mythical land. This is where Harry Potter resides. But it's an excellent place to start our first and only side trip, right outside Diagon Alley.
It says we're in Leicester Square, London, England. But I'm not really too sure. But that fountain, that looks very familiar. And it's actually one that's modeled after Piccadilly Circus in London, England. So let's go find the original.
To get there, I was going to take the Hogwarts Express, but my watch was off and I missed it. So I had to take the next best way.
They say this phone booth is magical. We'll see.
Once you've made it to London, the fountain in question is pretty easy to find.
Because it's just a short ride on the tube of the Underground to get you here to Piccadilly Circus to find the 1893 statue of Eros.
Its official name is the Shaftesbury Memorial Fountain, named after the 7th Earl of Shaftesbury. But as popular as the fountain is for photographs, I guess my timing is off because I've never seen it with water.
Well, that's the original fountain, and I think it's a lot better than Universal Studios with a lot more history. Here in the Circus of Piccadilly, you will hear a lot of construction going on right now because they're taking down a lot of the billboards and replacing them with a video wall. The screens would cover up where the old billboards used to be.
Okay, with that out of the way, let's get back to Universal Studios Orlando and our search for our mythical land and our fictitious character. I've arrived at my destination, but what I was really looking for was the town of Sweet Haven. Now, Sweet Haven is the official town of Popeye and all of his friends, and this is the only Sweet Haven in North America. I found out that there was a ship that was in honor of olive oil. There's even a restaurant dedicated to the hamburger-loving Wimpy. But I couldn't find any of its famous residents. No Popeye, olive oil, Bluto, Pappy, Wimpy. For that, I was going to have to find somewhere more authentic, and to find those seafarers, I was going to have to get on a ship.
Well, we've arrived at our destination. Took about 35 minutes of a taxi, and it's windy up here. We're on a cliff, but it's quiet, and we're in a place called Anchor Bay. And this is the original location and the original set of the movie Popeye.
It's the town of Sweet Haven, or the closest version we'll find. It's a theme park now, and we've got it all to ourselves, just about. One of the things I like to do when I go to a place I've never been before is to look for a guest book, and apparently others have too, and you can find it at the Sweet Haven Watch House. And now it was on to the village. The set actually laid fallow for a few years before local residents felt there needed to be something done with it. So they added a few more buildings and made it kid-friendly, and it became a destination. The first thing you should do is see the free 15-minute movie in the local souvenir shop that tells you about the history of what you're about to see.
This is certainly one interesting park. There's not too many people here, but the view is amazing. There are costumed characters and lots to do, I think. It's very small, though.
A one-eyed sailor named Popeye had just docked his boat and made his way up to the village. He was expecting to meet his fiancée after a long time sailing.
Here she comes. Olive oil is coming. Isn't she pretty? Or maybe not.
Until the day I die, I wonder why I knew he needed me. It could be fantasy, oh. Or maybe it's because he needs me, 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 he needs me.
It even has the same window, even though it's a little worse for wear after 35 plus years. But same perspective.
Here in one of the shacks is a little museum of the production, and you can see little artifacts from the actual movie, some of the things that they've left behind, such as all these old rotting movie lights. Here's a poster of the big scene where Popeye knocks out a heavyweight, and here's a recreation of that scene, even though Popeye and Olive Oil are in the background, so I don't know who these guys are. You may notice from the original movie that many of these sets are a lot brighter than in the film. It's because in the film they were painted gray or a very drab color. It makes for a better postcard nowadays. Many of these sets or buildings are retouched over the years, obviously. There was a small fire a few years back, and also I think one of the sets was demolished in the movie by Bluto. But it's close enough, and it's in the same layout, and it certainly is a lot of fun, at least for me it is.
One pleasant surprise was with every adult ticket came a glass of wine, and this wine was different than wine I had tasted before. It was called Popeye Punch, and it was hot and had little bits of fruit in it.
They say this is the dentist's office here at Sweethaven, but I don't remember it in the movie. And he looks like he's got worse problems than bad teeth. I know who that is.
Hi!
Ah! I'm going for a drink. This is what real men drink.
Wow.
It's good, so I wouldn't recommend it, but it works for me. Hairs on the chest, hair on the face. Look at this one.
Yeah, that's a lot of hairs. Thanks, Pappy.
Yeah.
Very friendly people here.
Oh, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
He's Popeye the Sailor Man. He's Popeye the Sailor He's stronger than fish, 'cause he eats that spinach. He's Popeye the Sailor Man. He is Popeye the Sailor Man.
Well, here we are back at the Valletta Cruise Port Terminal. Valletta is the capital of Malta, and it's also the smallest capital of all the European countries. I just learned that from my taxi driver a moment ago. Well, let's get back to the cruise ship and continue our adventure.